Nate G219. This is to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Hit that channel if you want to help out. Today is January 9th, about 5 o'clock in the morning. But you know that's that irrelevance for today. Always got to have that irrelevance. But today I'm reacting to another one of Cuzzo Costo's video. Eric Costo. He's from Pennsylvania. I haven't really learned a whole lot about his story other than he went to prison for taking somebody's life. And it wasn't an intended taking of a life. It wasn't, he didn't intentionally do something. He wasn't like out on BS going to hit a robbery and somebody lost their life or something. But somebody did lose their life. Today isn't the story into that. We're going to be reacting to that probably on the next video. But let's get into today's reaction.
What's up, everybody? My name's Eric Costo, and this is my life story from innocent child to convicted killer. I know I left y'all with a cliffhanger, but the next story part that I do, that cliffhanger, is going to lead into my first day in prison. And before we get into all them story parts, okay, I understand the way I look. I understand the way people perceive me that don't know me, you know, first impressions type shit. I get it, you know?
He's not wrong. First impression is going to tell me that he's a thug, that he's been to prison, that he's a convict. And it's not always something, it's never something that you got to be proud of, that you want to be proud of. Being a convict, having been to prison. There's no brownie points for having been to the joint. Promise you that.
I didn't always look like a convict. I actually used to look like this.
So he said they called him Justin Bieber. He didn't know who that was. I mean, come on. Now that he's come out as Justin Bieber's twin brother, I mean, we understand why.
Last photo that I ever took in high school. Because you guys know, who've been following the life story since part 1, you guys know that I did not make it long as an adult at all. But now...
He didn't. He went in at 19 years old.
That you can see me is not this. That's how I went into prison. That is what I looked like. I looked like that. Not this. I looked like that going in there. And with
I do want to say something about that. A lot of people go in that don't have any tattoos, maybe only 1 or 2, and they come out covered in tattoos. And the face tattoos, I don't know why it's such an attraction, but unless you're never going home, and you know you're never going home, you don't have a shot of never going home, putting ink on your face, it's a regret that I don't know one person that doesn't regret doing their face tattoos. I know one that claims he doesn't regret it, but there's no way he does not regret it. There's no way.
Out with how the internet is and how all this content is available now to all of you, everyone knows what prison's really like now. It's not just the people that have been there. Everyone knows. So with everyone knowing that, I hope everyone understands why I did the things that I did. Because in a lot of these story parts that I'm going to be going into, you know, you're going to see the transformation. And just perfect example, okay? I had to do a year and a half, 18 months in solitary confinement. The whole. Because I was smuggling marijuana into the prison to make money. And they caught...
I mean, 18 months in the hole? And I can guarantee that it wasn't to where he wasn't able to talk to anybody or anything. There was other people that were in the hole at the same time that, I'm not sure what kind of prison or jail he was in at this point in time, whether it had bars or solid steel doors. Now, the solid steel doors, that does suck. I mean, that is one of the worst, more shitty scenarios when you're incarcerated in the hole. I mean, being incarcerated is a shitty scenario anyways, but when you go to jail, inside the jail, it's usually a little bit shittier. You're locked down 23 hours a day. You're stripped to the bare minimum. Depending if it's jail or county, is depending on whether you're allowed commissary or anything whatsoever. So, I mean, that's also a difference between short-term and long-term segregation. It's not like he was in a padded cell for 18 months. I'm not saying that can't happen because I know somebody that did that, but he did that intentionally. He'd get a chance to go to population. I want to take my own life, or I'm going to do this. I mean, TJ Bailey, if you ever see this, you're a little punk. That's why they put you in the cell with me at the end with no cameras. You only lasted a day. You know what I'm talking about, pussy.
It busted me, but that wasn't good enough. They wanted me to rat on multiple gangs. Well, I told them, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing that shit. And okay, we'll see you in 90 days. 90 days goes by. I'm losing it. That's 3 months in the hole in solitary confinement. 3 months. You ready to talk? No. Oh, okay. Well, you're getting charged too. What? Yeah, you're getting charged because they made it seem like it was just going to be in-house problems. Like the solitary was the punishment. But no. Yeah, I ended up getting charged 2 to 4 years. 2 to 4 years. Oh, another 90 days passes. But before I go into that, I actually got to have a visit. I seen my mom.
I don't know why he sounds surprised that they were hitting him with an outside charge. He was introducing an illegal thing to an institution. It wasn't just tobacco or something, it was weed. And although it's very minute in today's society, the seriousness is still introducing it to a penal facility. You can't do that. That's big time charges. I know plenty of people that got caught bringing cigarettes in. Got the same charges. So facing 2 to 4 years. And that's on top of his 5 to 11 years for unaliving somebody. So he goes to jail and starts acting a fool and picks up a new charge. I don't know why you're surprised. And 1.5 years in the hole, I know it sounds like forever, but myself, I did 1 year, and I didn't do as much time as him. I only did about 5 years total, but in the one bit, I did 3 years. One of it was in the hole. Solitary confinement is what it's called. But although I was in a room by myself, in a cell by myself, there was people everywhere. I saw somebody unalived right in front of me in solitary confinement. So things happen in the hole. It's not like you're in this little dark room by yourself with no anything going on around you. There's other things going on. A lot of other states, you have a cell partner in your solitary confinement, so you're not solitary, you're just confined down into the hole. You got a cell partner, you got your rec time, you're not just locked in a damn closet with no lights or something.
It was the last visit, and I looked healthy. I looked like this. Normal picture, right? I look healthy. Well, yeah, another 90 days goes. Now we're on 6 months. You ready to talk? You ready? You ready to tell us who's doing this, who's doing that, how's this coming in, how's this happening. No, fuck you. Another 90 days goes by. Same shit. Same shit. Until we finally get to 18 months. And do you know why they stopped? Because they made it illegal. They finally, it blows my mind that this happened while I was going through this shit. But the law changed and they made it cruel and unusual punishment because a lot of mentally disabled prisoners were getting thrown into solitary and just not allowed to leave. Like, just kept them in there. That's how they solved the problems. And that was the main...
I do want to touch on that. Now, the laws haven't changed everywhere. That I'm pretty sure it's just a state thing, because I know plenty of people that have been sitting in segregation for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. The longest one I had personally met, Gangster Joe, he had been in administrative segregation for 14 years when I had met him. I've heard, my boy Corey spent 12 years and his was confinement. I mean, you want to talk about solitary confinement. He spent 12 years of pure hell in maximum control centers and secured housing units. I mean, pure hell.
Issue, but just like me, they were using it in all types of ways. They're using it. They still do that, because if you're not classified as a D stability, mental health stability, which is the highest, then these rules don't apply to you. So what was happening to me, it could still happen unless you're labeled, and I got labeled a D code from all that solitary confinement time. But what I looked like when I got out, you can see what solitary confinement does to you. Just look at this picture. This is the day I got out after doing 18 months, and this is my first visit. So you
didn't look like it went through too bad of a time. Didn't look like you were completely bugged out, but it does damage you. Being confined like that, it does mentally damage you. It's an indescribable situation. Unless you've been there and done it, you can't give somebody's mind even a tour of the pain you've been through.
Understand, it's not just looks transformation. It's not just mental transformation. It's physical. It's physical. I mean, this is me healthy, normal looking. I looked like I was on my last days. I looked like a doctor just told me you have 3 months to live. And what happened to me during those 18 months, because you guys know it wasn't just as simple as, oh, you're not going to tell us? You're not going to rat on everyone? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. There was a lot of shit that happened to me during them 18 months, and you're going to understand why I came out looking like that. But I just want everyone to know, everyone that's been rocking with me and showing me support, supporting the channel, the stories that I'm going to be telling you, the things that I did that were violent, I wish I never had to fucking do any of that shit. But I did. I did.
Now, knowing what I know now, it's likely that he didn't have to do most of it. He didn't have to, I know he didn't have to be bringing weed into the jail. So he didn't have to go do 18 months in the hole and have to fight with the cops and pick up a new case. He didn't have to go in like a gangbanging warrior or portray himself like that. I'm not saying he wouldn't have had to do some fighting, but you don't always have to be the biggest, baddest dude in the room. That just usually gets you a bunch of bullshit in the long run.
Over and over and over again. And it sounds crazy, but it's like just some people in there just like they give you no choice. It's like they're just begging, like, but it ain't me. I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. But I hate it. And I just want everyone to understand that. Like, I'm not glorifying anything. All these situations that I figured out a fucked up way to get out of it and save myself, all them things I'm not proud of. I'm grateful that I got out of it. But all them situations, those were man-made situations. I'm not glorifying none of that shit. Like, no shit like that is going to happen when everyone's in a fucking cage. And it's just, you're going to see. It's a whole other world, okay? Remember what I looked like. Remember what I looked like going in, okay? I didn't look like this. That's what I came out. But these story parts, you guys thought my life was crazy already. And that was before prison. You guys thought my life was crazy as a child. Like, no.
So we're going to get into some of those other videos. I'm going to filter through some of them and see what I can find that grabs my attention so we can learn a little bit more about this gentleman. He doesn't seem like a bad dude. He does seem like he's a little confused on how life is now. I mean, going in at the young age of 19 and having to do 5 to 10 years, maybe a little longer. Again, I don't know exactly how long he's done, but he doesn't look too old, so he couldn't have done no 15 years, 20 years or nothing. But coming home at, your mid to late 20s, after you've been in a war zone for, your entire adult life, coming home, your head's going to be twisted up, and you're not going to be able to really separate that life between what the reality of life on the streets is, because it's two different worlds. Two different complete worlds, guys.
That's like everything that I'm talking about is, I'm going to give you an in-depth view of prison, and not from a bird's eye view. See, like, a lot of people are just, they're good talkers. A lot of people say that about me, like, you got the gift of gab. And, that's cool, but some people only have that. And because they did time in prison, and they have that gift of gab, they're big-time prison content, creators. And, you even...
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I agree with that one. When you go to prison, if you don't learn the gift of gab, you haven't learned anything at all. I've been told by somebody I could sell ice to an Eskimo or snow to an Eskimo or something like that. And I can talk. I'm good at talking, but using it to your benefit for the wrong things is what a majority of people do, especially people that are still caught up in the convict life. They will sell ice to an Eskimo. Their inner morals are still that of what they would be inside the prison, and you got to have a different mentality, a different moral code when you're inside. You really do, because everybody's out for themselves. Nobody is just your friend just to be your friend. I mean, I can't say nobody, but a majority of people have an ulterior motive. They're your friend because it benefits them in one way, shape, or form. So,
some that, might have never even done time. They've just studied a lot of different documentaries and got the gift of gab, but the things that I went through and I did and I became and I was involved in, all documented, all proven, I'm going to give you an actual first-hand view of how prison really works. There's a lot of prison content creators also that do know exactly what they're talking about and really was involved in all of the shit and know, and that's all great too. But I'm about to tell you what goes on in here and in here for someone that went into prison 19 years old looking like this and then came out of that place like this. And I'm not like always doing this because it's like tattoos, but like all my stuff, this is all prison homemade ink. This is all guitar string, sewing needle, chest pieces, hair grease, and like pain.
So what he just touched on, the chest pieces, the hair grease, that's ways to make the ink. Obviously the guitar string, the sewing needle, that's a way to put the ink in your skin. And again, that's all single needle. There's no shading needles in there. Now, I did see some people making them, but not very often, and nor did I have a chance to get tattooed by somebody that was making them. I trusted the single needle. That was a true and tried way to do tattoos, and I wasn't letting somebody experiment with a shading needle that was made out of guitar strings. I mean, I don't know why I didn't. I mean, what the hell? I was already getting plucked up, but I mean, he's not wrong. It's those tattoos, man. When you're sitting there under that single needle, oh boy.
Gotta go over everything like 3 times. And you guys are gonna finally hear why I did all this. Everything that I did while I was in prison, everything was calculated. I'm an overthinker. I overthink everything. If I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, okay, this could possibly happen. All right, yeah, but that could also possibly happen. That could possibly. But then if this happens, then this could. I'm always thinking like that. And that's it.
I'm just going to call it. The tattoos on the face and getting all tatted out and looking like a thug, it's a tactic used by many people. And it's to try to make yourself appear to be something you aren't. To be scary when you aren't. Not saying that you can't become scary, but that's usually what it's a tactic. It's a diversion. Try to, I'm not going to mess with him. That dude looks crazy. A lot of people do it, and that's the reason why they do it. A lot of times it works.
Leave me in there. But I'm done spoiling. I'm done spoiling shit. We're going to get into this, and if any of you guys have any kids that are going through things that you've seen in my earlier story parts, or have them watch all these prison parts. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, you could show them, tell them that they're not going to. I really hope that the way that I explain all of these and how real I get with myself on here, I hope that it's not just watching or hearing. They feel my pain. Like they feel it through watching this shit.
Alright, well, that was the reaction to Eric Cuzzo video. Now, I haven't exactly figured out which affiliation he is or was a part of. Maybe a Serrano, maybe a Crip, but definitely became a part of something. As you see, he went in looking like Justin Bieber. Didn't look like he had any ink. If he did, it wasn't much. And I can almost guarantee it wasn't all over his face. But, Eric, I'd definitely like to talk to you. Maybe we can chat one day. And I'm not trying to slam you negatively. I call things how I see it, and I just see that you're fresh out, so you're still in bid mode. You're still in bid mode. There's nothing that you can do about that. And it's not a switch. It's not a light switch that you can just turn on and off. You can turn it on if you go back, but turning it off, that's the challenge. But let me know what you guys think. Never forget life's choices either, because like he said, he went from looking like Justin Bieber to this gangster. I mean, and we're gonna dig through his stories and see how he got there. But yeah, never forget life's choices, because you might end up making the same choices Cuzzo has made. But with that being said, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. And always remember, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Peace.